Hello, everybody. I am Evelyn, and I am going to explain articles. So we're going to start. If you were working on our virtual classroom, you will have, I'm sure you came across this exercise. So can you try to complete it? My mother lives in small city in Santa Fe. City is quite beautiful. Carlos is doctor. This is man of my dreams. George is coming to Argentina next week. So let's see if you could complete them right. So my mother lives in a small city in Santa Fe. This city is quite beautiful. Carlos is a doctor. This is the man of my dreams. George is coming to Argentina next week. These are the correct answers. So there are two types of articles in English, the indefinite article an and the definite article the. Also, we need to consider when we talk about articles, the notion of no article, which is something that is very common in English and very different from Spanish. We will see it. So, the indefinite article. We always use the indefinite articles with a singular countable noun. Remember that an means one, so we cannot use it with plural. We cannot say an oranges, for example. Or we cannot use it with uncountables. For example, I don't know, a love or a money. That is not okay. We use it with singular countable nouns. For example, a student. So we use the indefinite article when we mention something for the first time. For example, I saw Peter with a girl. This is the first time I mentioned the girl, so I'm going to use a. To say what kind of person or thing something or somebody is. For example, when we talk about professions, I say, for instance, she is a lawyer, I am a teacher. This is a difference from Spanish because in Spanish we never use the article when we provide our professions, right? In English, we always do. I am a student, a teacher, etc. We also use it with expressions of frequency. For example, we meet once a week, twice a month, etc., etc. When we mean one, for example, I'd like an apple, please. An means one apple. And in the expressions what a and a singular countable noun, for example, what a wonderful dress, or what a horrible time, or what an interesting topic, etc., etc. The definite article is used with things. First of all, the definite article is they. We use it with things or people that we have already mentioned. For example, a man was in front of me, first time I mentioned him, but then I think the man was German. I use the because it is the second time I mention the person. When we know which things or people we're talking about, for example, if I say, where are the kids? Of course, if I ask my husband, for example, where are the kids? My husband will know what kids I'm talking about, right? Hopefully. The next, when there is only one of something, for example, the earth, the internet, the moon, the universe, etc. For example, I need to talk to the headmaster or I need to talk to the manager. When I say the manager, I'm thinking that there is only one manager. This is typical of angry people, right? In a shop. I need to talk to the manager. Very good. We also use it with places in town, for example, the park, the cinema, the doctor, especially when there is only one. I'm going to the bank. We know what we're talking about. Here in Cordoba, even though there are a lot of banks and a lot of cinemas, it's a place in town and we use they because it's a specific place. With superlatives, they are the best band I've ever heard. The best is the superlative. Now, as I said before, we have to think of the no article option, and we use this no article option in English. We use it to describe something in general, and we use it, this is very important, to make generalizations with plural nouns or uncountable nouns. For example, In Spanish, we would say something like el amor es más importante que el dinero. I will use the definite article el amor, el dinero. In English, love and money are uncountable nouns, and I don't use the. I don't say the love is more important than the money. I say nothing. Love is more important than money. It's a generalization. The same with plural nouns. If I say, for example, men drive uh, worse than women, for example, that is a generalization, okay? Or women take more care of their appearance, for example. I don't say the women. We also use nothing with some nouns for home, for example, home, work, bed, hospital, school, etc. when we speak in general. For example, Josh is at work at the moment. I don't say at the work. The same with home. I am at home. I'm not saying, I can't say I am at the home, okay? I am in bed, etc., etc. We also use nothing with names of meals. Meal is breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack. Well, snack is different because we use that. Don't worry about it. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. So I say something like, I love having breakfast in the garden. It's incorrect to say, I love having the breakfast in the garden. This is also, look at these examples, and these examples are very different from Spanish. So please be careful in this special aspect of articles when we don't use the article. We also use nothing with names of years, months, and days of the week. For example, my birthday is in May. I don't say in the May. Or on Monday, I study English. I don't say on the Monday, etc., etc. We use it also with next. We don't use it actually with next, last, and time expression when they mean before or after now. For example, the meeting is next Thursday, is after now, so we use nothing. Careful here, okay? Because this is a typical mistake to say the next weekend I am going to study. No, next weekend I am going to study. Careful, because this is a typical mistake. Okay, let's move on. So some important aspects. Compare these sentences. I love music. The party was great. I loved the music. So why don't I use nothing here, and why do I use the definite article here? Well, the answer is quite simple. When I use nothing, I love music in general. And when I use the, I am talking about the specific music at the party. So we use the to mention something specific, and we use no article to make generalizations. This is what I was saying before, the difference between English and Spanish. Los niños disfrutan jugar afuera. Los niños, I have to use the article in Spanish. But in English, I don't, because children is a plural countable noun. Well, of course, it is plural, it's countable. Children like playing outside. And also, for generalizations, we can use a or an, but of course with a singular countable noun. For example, a good person is somebody who helps others. Person is singular, so I use a, and this is a generalization. So you can use, or you can make generalizations with no article, like children like playing outside, or if it's a singular countable noun, you can use the indefinite article a or an. And another important aspect, an is used when we mention something for the first time, and de is used when we talk about something we've already mentioned. And here I have an example. Imagine you go to a fortune teller, this is a fortune teller, and she says you're going to meet a man at the party. The man will be tall and blonde. Oh, interesting. So a man is the first time I mention the person, but then I use the because I am mentioning the person for a second or later time. So I hope this is clear. So now let's do some practice. So this is what I suggest you do. Pause the video now and try to do the sentences. Try to complete with a, an, the, or nothing. and then continue watching the video to see the answers, okay? I am now pause the video. I am going to continue. So let's continue with the answer key. The first one, I don't know what happened, is here. So look at the dog over there. Isn't it beautiful? It's there because both the person I am talking to and I know the dog that we're talking about. I'm pointing at the dog. We go to the theater every year, place in town. Is there a theater in your city? A here means one. Have you closed the windows, dear? Because of course, my partner and I know what windows I'm talking about. Joanna is an engineer. Remember, I use an with professions. The party is going to be awesome. I use the because it's a specific party. We know what we are talking about. He likes money more than me. Terrible. We use nothing because money is an abstract and uncountable noun. What a lovely evening. I use a because it's an expression with what. They bought a car last month. Here it's a generalization in the singular, is one car. I love reading history books. Again, this is a generalization in the plural, so I use nothing. I don't know what I would do without the internet. I use the because internet there is only one. So, well, people, I hope this is clear. If it isn't, you can definitely ask us in, yes, go, the objective has been reached. So hopefully it has been clear. And if it hasn't, you can always contact us on our forum or ask us any questions you may have. Remember that we also have some live meetings, so we will be able to meet and you will be able to share your questions. Okay, so I hope this was clear. As always, you can download or you can watch this Prezi again by clicking on the link in the virtual classroom. Bye-bye and have a beautiful day.